What have you seen so far? Do you think the Pelicans can win a title having Zion as their #1 guy?
Yeah, like when he came out, the whole question was a guy that height, or that style, is he like Charles Barkley? Is he like Blake Griffin? Can you win an NBA title with a non-rim defending, at least in terms of his height, non-back-to-the-basket power forward type as your best player? Really hasn't been done before. The power forwards who've won are Tim Duncan, who could play the 4-5, Dirk Nowitzki, who had in one freaky year surrounded by shooters, and he's a freakish 7-foot shooter. But otherwise, guys like Barkley, and obviously I'm not putting Blake in the same category as Barkley, but they can't be the best player on a championship team, it doesn't seem. They're just the wrong body type. Can't be a two-way wing, really. Can't be a point, whatever. Could Zion do it? I think so far from what I've seen, the answer is yes. I would not say he's disqualified from being the best player on a championship team. He's a willing passer. He has a high basketball IQ. He can shoot it. He's calm. He's not a pure shooter, but he's shown the ability to knock down shots. He's calm. And he takes it to the rack.
Hard.
He's going to be on the free throw line all the time. And by the way, he can defend the rim, just not in a kind of traditional way. I believe what I've seen so far is one of the better kind of on the spectrum of what he could have been as a pro. It's on the side where you're like, boy, that's about as good as we could have hoped for out the gate.
Interesting that you say that. I'm not going to disagree with you, Max. What I'm going to say is I'm not sure. I'm just going to confess openly and tell you that I'm not sure. Here's the reason why. For some reason, he's reminding me of Barkley in terms of the era Barkley was in. In other words, round man of rebound, power play around the basket, can do some things in the open court, etc. But there's always somebody else waiting that's superior. And when I saw him last night against Giannis, I was thinking, those trees in Milwaukee, they'll stand in your way.
And the Lopez brothers.
Yes. Those trees in L.A. will stand in your way. That kind of, because everybody ain't going to be Houston going small, trying to play small ball. You're going to get your points. You're going to get your rebounds. Zion is shooting 58% from the free throw line. Zion is shooting 44% from three-point range. That's deceptive. You know why? Because he's only attempted 9 three-pointers on the season. He hit 4. All of them was in his first game. The last 6 games, he has not made a three-point shot. I'm looking at him, and I'm saying he's going to be a star. He's got star written all over him. He's got no choke in him. He ain't scared. He's a man playing amongst boys in terms of his physicality. He's got the skill set, power moves to the basket, could put the ball on the floor. I need him to be a little bit more ambidextrous. I need him to show a little bit of a perimeter game. I need him to shoot better from the free throw line. And, oh, by the way, I need Griffin and Gentry to make sure, and I'm not saying they're not doing it, I'm just speaking, just in jest. You got to put the right pieces around them.
That's the key.
And you got to coach in a fashion, if you're Gentry, that plays to his strength and sort of veers away from his weaknesses.
Agreed,
and I'm saying,
but do you believe that if those things are done, he could win a championship?
I think he could, but here's my problem,
As
Max.
the best player on the team.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't know. See, that's where I'm going. I'm saying to you, I know he's going to be great. Please don't get me wrong. Barkley was great. The question I'm asking, can they win with you being the #1 option? I'm thinking you got to be a 1A. There's got to be a 1. I'm just thinking. I don't know, but that's where I'm leaning.
I'm similar. You know what I mean? I think we're 7 games into a 19-year-old guy's
Coming off
career.
an injury.
Coming off an injury. I think we all agree if he'd been playing the full season, he'd probably be an all-star.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
I just want to see him continue to grow. What I will say, though, is if you take a look at where Giannis started when he came in and where Zion started, I think Zion is light years ahead of where Giannis is, and Giannis is an MVP only four years into his career. So I would say that he's definitely on the right pace. The kid loves to work. He plays hard. For everything you guys mentioned, but I also agree with Stephen A. The key is putting the right pieces around him. Can he be a Jordan with a Pippen type, that kind of counterpart, Batman, Robin type to win a title? I think he can.
But look, I don't know. I know what you mean. The thing I love about Zion is he can get 20 points without running the play for him.
Energy.
Just, out in transition, whatever, cleaning up around the boards. He doesn't need to be Shaq you'll throw the ball into or design your offense around Jordan.
Right.
He could still be the best player on the team overall, even if you have a guy who maybe you design a few more plays for.
Let me come to both of y'all with this. Another name that I can bring up, just because of the situation he presently is in, is an Anthony Davis. Hear me out. obviously Anthony Davis 6'10", 6'11", just like Giannis is taller and all of that stuff. Forget all of that for a second. You can throw the ball into Anthony Davis now. He could be your number one option now. But we all know to win the championship, it's got to be LeBron.
Right.
It's got to be LeBron.
Right.
I'm saying for an 82-game regular season, Zion, go ahead and do your thing. But come playoff time, even though he's a man in that low post, even though he's a man in the open court, because of his game itself, I need somebody, preferably on the perimeter, that's just as a significant option to be that guy.
But see, that's
because
the
him being the number one option, when you talk, it's too early. Again, he's 19, all of this other stuff. But I'm just talking style of play. Because of the way he plays, I don't know if you win a championship with that option.
So here's
that's the number one option.
Here's my question for you. Do you pair him ideally with a big or a wing?
A wing.
I think we're moving away from bigs in general. I think Embiid's probably one of the last, you don't want to call him a dinosaur, but last skilled big man you could throw the ball to on the block. AD, obviously.
But the freak is like, I mean like a guy who's close to 7 feet who could defend the rim kind of guy.
I don't know. Like I said, he covers a lot of space out there. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's going to take some time. And being a player in this league and understanding that 7 games in, obviously, but it takes a good 3 or 4 years to understand how to play the NBA game of basketball. He's out there off raw talent, energy, and effort, getting 20 and 7, 19 and 7 a night. So you give him another 2-3 years to get stronger, more agile, find his body weight, and being able to attack people.
And Max has to remember you're really answering your own question, because just because he wasn't here when you brought this up before, think about how many times, and I've disagreed with Max on this, but his point is valid. He has been fixated on Embiid and Simmons don't work together, right? And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you got.
Oh, they work together. No. Simmons would be better off with his own team.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.